all we have for closed session, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't have.
Maybe turn.
Yes, you know.
Other mayor?
Bernie, are you able to come on March 13th for the emergency management meeting, right?
So, yeah.
I sent it back. It was okay with me. Yes, I have it in here.
They chose 9 this time, I guess. I don't know why.
No, I have to cancel my hair appointment because Matt was for 9:30, so I have to move it. Usually we have our
That's
meetings
his
at
fault.
8.
Well, sure.
You know what I mean? Live stream, okay. I have a resolution moved and seconded to reconvene from the closed session, the time being 9:24 a.m. A resolution to reconvene the regular meeting from closed session. It's been moved and seconded at 9:24 a.m. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We also have a resolution. I don't know, are they two separate resolutions for the minutes? Okay. I have a resolution moved and seconded to approve the closed session minutes held for, what the date was, here they are, February 11th and February 18th, closed session minutes. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We now have a resolution moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the special council meeting held on February the 3rd. Were there any errors or omissions? All in favor of the minutes as presented? Opposed? Carried. Were there any discussion on those minutes? As there is none, we have a resolution moving and seconding the minutes of the public meeting held on February the 11th. Were there any errors or omissions? All in favor of the minutes as presented? Opposed? Carried. Any discussion on those minutes? Councillor Peacock?
Good morning and thank you. I have a concern with regard to page 24 of our package, with regard to the Norwest chiller upgrade.
That's the next one.
I'm sorry, the 11th. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
the first
public
was a
meeting.
public meeting.
I'm sorry.
So there is no discussion?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. The next item we have is a resolution moved and seconded that the minutes of the council meeting held on February the 11th be approved. Were there any errors or omissions? All in favor of the minutes as presented? Opposed? Carried. Any discussion on those minutes? Yes, Councillor Peacock?
All right, let's try again. February 11th, the council received a 2-page brochure, I guess, with regard to the chiller, but there were no prices attached to it. And yet, in the package that we get this time, there's prices attached to it. So there were 2 options, and the difference was $30,000. I feel that those 2 options should have been presented at the time of council's decision. And perhaps the treasurer can answer this. This contract has now been signed and a purchase order has been issued. From what I can understand is, do you know if that's correct?
From what I have been able to find on the system in terms of purchasing, a purchase order was issued. The only documentation that it's a contract, it appears to be in the page 50-ish of our current
46.
it's signed by, it looks like Nick Bowles. signed it. But there's no contract that has come to, the treasurer for accounting, and there's no, and the PO was issued based on, I guess, this agreement. There's nothing in the procurement. No RFP went out, no RFQ went out, or anything through, accounting. So the first I'm aware of this was, in the package that I saw that Judy gave me the other day.
My concern is that perhaps if this has already gone to Simcoe, then should they not have waited? Should the contract not have waited until at least the minutes were approved? Are we putting the cart before the horse?
Well, at the meeting when this first came up, the report said that we had 14 to 16 weeks to order the parts. So that's what the report said. We were going to go ahead and order this unit, the condenser.
I believe it was that, so that they have the condenser immediately when ice is removed from the arena, so that they can begin construction to have it in place.
We want to have as much time as possible to ensure that we're able to put ice back in August this year.
Just unfortunate that we weren't provided with all of the information at the time that it came to council the first time. Thank you.
Information on page 49, sorry, 48 to 54. The date is February the 5th, so it was. But it come to.
This was, we did discuss this at the last meeting. We know it has to be done to keep our arena open. We had hoped that we would have known by now about the grant that we applied for, but because of election and closing of Parliament, this is all stopped. So council at that time agreed that we have to do it. We'll have to take it out of reserve unless the grant is approved previous to the installing of this. So it's needed, or that arena will not be open in the fall. Okay, so that was your comment on the minutes. Thank you. And then we have a resolution moved and seconded that the minutes of the special council meeting held on February the 18th be approved. Were there any errors or omissions? All in favor of the minutes as presented? Opposed? Discussion on those minutes, page 32 to 34. If there is none, we now have fire and emergency services. We have the minutes of the counts officers meeting on page 35 to 39. And our fire chief is here to answer any questions you may have on those minutes. Anything you noted was of note that would like clear, Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. I noticed on TB Newswatch that Greenstone has advertised that they have the Voyant Alert now. And I'm just wondering, how have you had much of a feedback from the notice that was in the taxes?
Yeah, actually, I looked up just Friday or Monday, and we had basically a triple intake. We're up to almost 300 people. So before the tax mail load, it was in and around 100. So still need some work to get people signed up, but there was a marked increase after the tax mail load happened. So, and we're going to discuss it at the emergency management meeting, but we're looking at doing some open house and in-person meetings with people to spark some uptake in that.
Mhm. It might be also a suggestion that sometimes these centers, like even the rural 60+, they have get-togethers, and we could set a session up maybe with someone who could help them go through the process of downloading it and explaining what it's all about.
That's exactly what we're gonna do,
Good.
like hit Hill Street, the Legion,
Yeah,
the seniors groups, the Women's Institute, like all these groups that get together and bring a computer to help people get on. So that's in the works.
sometimes the worst part of it is getting it downloaded and the fear of how to do it that stops it happening. So thank you. Any other questions in regards to the minutes? Was there any, well, we have a few fire department things, and we'll see if there's anything further to discuss. We have report number 2025.43 to set a date for a special meeting for fire station location review report. We have received that report, and at that time, both the producer of that report and ourselves will be with the firefighters, whomever wish to come to the meeting at the, I believe, the Roslyn Hall. And it'll be open to the public. But only the fire department that will be discussing it.
Yes, I believe that's what we came to. It's an open public meeting and firefighters and council will be able to ask questions at the as part of the presentation.
Mhm.
Members of the public can listen in, but it's not the intent to have them asking about it. They haven't seen the actual document, the draft document.
Yeah.
It is getting circulated as we speak amongst our firefighters. It was handed out at the last officers meeting. And I know Greg Hankio, the person that's authoring it, has been talking to some people, so.
Good. Okay, so we have a resolution that's been moved and seconded to determine the date for that special meeting in March. So we'll open it to the council as to what time, what works the best. We had, I think, initially put down the 17th, the Monday night, because I have it marked down here for some reason with the question mark, but we'll all wear our green. 17th at what is an acceptable time? 6:30, 7?
I think as long as, yeah, 6 or after.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
people are working. That's right.
Yeah, our trainings typically start at 7 or.
Okay, let's make it
7:30, so
7 p.m.
7
then.
is-
Yeah, and we do have persons that have occupations that have them working a little later. So 7 p.m., March the 17th, Monday, 7 p.m. Okay, and we'll put it on our website so people know. Any further discussion on the date and time? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. All righty, and then we have the fire department fleet update, which is on page 41 to 43. It's discussing some of the fire equipment and their history and where they are today and what condition they're in. Was there any questions you had of the fire chief in regards to this report? Councillor Peacock?
Bless you. Has the other rescue, like we had ordered 2 rescues, correct? Is the other one coming or?
The second one is coming. It has not been delivered yet. The last I heard was expected like mid to end of March. But I haven't got a final date on it. So it is being built, I think, as we speak.
Mhm. So will the other vehicles stay here until they're both here and you've got the decals on and assigned a station?
Yeah, the one that's here, I'm waiting to get the decal booked to get the decals on, and then it'll get loaded and put into a station. It'll be discussion point at the officers meeting on where it's gonna actually go. And then the same when the second one comes in, the discussion on it. Of note in the report is that originally that one of the new trucks was replacing either Rescue 33 or 30 or 90.
Mhm.
39 did not pass the safety as I think I put it in here.
Mhm.
And, so we've got to switch. So that one out there, we're gonna switch it to 39. So just so that we know moving forward, if we see rescue whatever still in the system, then that's why. Because we had to switch numbers.
Okay.
And I just wanted you guys to be aware that we're seeing a marked increase in the price of the safeties. So
Mhm. Okay. Any other questions or comments for the fire chief? And Sean, did you have anything further for us other than what we've just talked about?
I don't think at this point, no.
Next one we have is a resolution moved and seconded in regards to report 2025.38 to finance RFQ 07/2024, the plow truck. It's on page 44 to 45. Is there any questions or concerns? The motion has been made and seconded. It's open for discussion. Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. The original resolution with regard to this plow truck, unfortunately, it was prepared by the asset manager. And in speaking with our treasurer, he didn't see that resolution prior to it going to council. So perhaps had he seen it, the issue with regard to the non-refundable HST would have been caught. Can I suggest that all future resolutions pertaining to the budget include what account the funds are coming from? And that any thing dealing with the budget be provided to the treasurer and reviewed by him prior to it going to council? Unfortunately, the director of operations isn't here today, but I was just wondering what's happening with the old number 25. Will it be declared surplus? And at the present time, it does say in the budget that he's anticipating $60,000 for should it be declared surplus. He's thinking that that's going to be the amount that he could get for the old number 25. Perhaps it'll be kept in service. I'm just not sure. The way the grader worked last year, as far as what was anticipated, we were supposed to get what we got. The amount that was spent on it prior to it being traded in, it really wasn't, it didn't work out as to what it should have, as, as presented to council on the first go round. So anyways, it's disappointing that the treasurer wasn't involved in this resolution from the start. My thoughts. Thank you.
Yes.
I've had some discussions and we're implementing some policies to make sure that this.
Okay, thank you. Again, I don't feel that we as a council have to know exactly what account any of this comes from. That's your job. You put it where it's supposed to go and we'll see it at the end of the year. Okay. So we do have a resolution for this plow truck, which was part of our budget. So any further questions? I will call for a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We now have the condenser replacement agreement. We have a resolution to get an agreement with Simco for the adiabatic compressor replacement. We have a report on page 46 to 54. As motion's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Yes, Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. I have a concern with regard to the extras that are required with regard for the project. On the top of page 47, the Director of Operations indicates the cost for electrical will be performed by traditional vendors, as well as costs of internal modification performed by appropriate trades based on availability. In compliance with our procurement bylaw, all of these items are well over the requirements So they need to go out as either an RFQ or an RFT based on the values here. I don't feel it's appropriate to just, find someone who is available. We're not in compliance with our procurement bylaw. As well, it says, no internal cost will be transferred for the corporate or for the community services or public works staff. Is there a reason why? They should be able to track their hours and have it charged to that project. As I say, it was disappointing that council wasn't given the opportunity to choose either one or the other model. I'm not familiar with this equipment, so perhaps I'm talking out of turn. But is this only for the condenser? Is the chiller something different, or is it both?
It says here the new condenser is 312,000 and the chiller is 106,000. And that's what's considered the,
So are both of those in the quote? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so like I say, in accordance with our procurement bylaw, I feel that those things should be put out to tender.
So it is, there is nothing in this report. And I don't know if there will be a resolution that follows up that would suggest that we should not follow the requirements of the procurement bylaw. So it is my expectation that all of these, the electrical would be, given that it's over 25,000, would be an RFP, and that the smaller ones we could perhaps go to an RFQ. With Simco, with our relationship with Simco and the specific requirements, council can single source that. It is allowed in the, so we can have a resolution that would specifically say single source that. Since no other contractors or anybody else has been identified for the other items, I would suggest it would be hard for us to say that we would want to single or sole source that, since no one has been identified to do it. It would kind of leave it up in the air. So I would expect that everything other than the Simco would follow the procurement bylaw.
yes, I'm sure it will.
So that's my expectation.
It is my, from my knowledge from the discussion with this, is we are now in a position where we have to purchase this stuff. Right? And as was noted, it takes so many weeks before this comes. The other part, when it comes to the electrical and so on, there will be resolutions coming to us in the future to do that work. But right now, let's go order the condenser and the chiller.
Yeah, I know, I not saying not to do that the report is not an excuse not to follow the procurement
No.
bylaw.
And I'm not,
Which I believe was Councilor Fox's question.
yes. It will be done by knowledgeable vendors, all this electrical and plumbing or whatever's required. It's just those quotes are not here, but they have to be done. Yeah. Okay. So what we are discussing here is for the condenser replacement of $284 of $284,450, which is the beginning of that quote.
Mayor Lucy,
Yes, Councillor Viss.
just to be very clear, I understand that that's the only thing we're passing.
That's right.
The remainder, what Councilor Peacock brought up, we'll have to come back to a
That's
further
right.
date to put clarification on, and then, so that's. the
That's
case.
right.
Then I thought I understood it that way. That
Yes.
was the only thing we're passing, and you're correct. We needed to order that because it takes so long to get.
That's right.
Okay, as long as we're all clear on that,
Yeah.
that's the only thing we're passing today.
As the resolution notes, it's only for the condenser replacement that we're now passing.
And I think some of these, like these trades thing, I don't think it really means that they've already decided who's doing this.
No,
I think these
these
are
are
just-
his estimates.
These are just estimates, eh? So until they actually put that out there and
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're correct.
And it also notes the non-refundable HST in the bottom, so we know that now, right?
Just want to be sure that it goes the proper process that council passed in 2022.
Oh, I'm sure it will, because as we are doing, it's just the condenser that we are approving now. Again, is any more discussion? Resolution's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Then we have page 55 to 67, the food recycler program. We have a resolution moved and seconded in regards to the program that was, we've had contact with the company and they have asked us to look at this process. Wayne?
Yeah, what I want to advise is if you're not interested in this project, defeat the resolution.
And that's on page, what page is your resolution on?
55.
55? Okay, yes, that's correct. I read it and I said, nope, it says right here, they are not in, we should not move forward. This is, administration is against establishing the program. And the reasons are listed. So its resolution's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Now, this resolution is interested in ending into an agreement. The administration says we should go against. I'm just trying to, so we know where we're going. So anyone, all in favor with the moving forward with the agreement for the municipal food waste diversion plant program, please indicate so. Those opposed? Defeated. All righty, then we are on page 68, and we're going to the Thunder Bay and Area Food Strategy Survey. We have, we're recommending a submission of the response from our municipality. A motion's been moved and seconded that we do so. It's open for discussion. It's Wayne's report. Any questions on report? There were some submissions submitted in to the administrator, to the CAO, and this is an amalgamation of those surveys. We had motion as we moved and seconded to submit this. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Then we have the LCRA MOU 2025. A resolution's been moved and seconded to approve the agreement for online mapping services. They have been doing it with us for many years. And motion's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councillor Peacock.
Thank you. Just wondering how often the maps are updated, and are the consent applications also added to the mapping, and are they as well as zoning and official plan amendments? I know it does indicate in there that they are updated. So with regard to if the consents are on there, are they added to the mapping once the certificates are issued? Perhaps that's a question for the planner.
So the maps are updated annually as far as zoning and any amendments that we do. As far as consents, as the report states, MPAC sends their data directly to the Conservation Authority now. So as MPAC is updated, so are our maps.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Again, the resolution's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And now we have the Quebec Falls Legion Road Races. They have a marathon in August. And this is a resolution. I believe there's two of them. The first one is to approve the agreement between the Legion and the municipality in regards to the agreement on the road races. And I believe this yes, let me see here. The agreement, the insurance, and the indemnification of the municipal property used for this race. Any questions? It's been moved in second, the first resolution. Councillor Peacock.
Thank you again. Has O'Connor Township also been advised? Because with the race, it goes up their portion of Luckens Road. So I wasn't sure if Mr. Gilbert had contacted O'Connor as well for their approval.
Half of the road is ours, so I'm sure that when I see Mr. Gilbert, I will ask him that, but
Okay.
I have no knowledge.
All right. My other question, and perhaps it's in advance of the next resolution, but for the bylaw, saying it's going to be good for 10 years. I don't know if any of us will still be sitting around this table, so I just wondered how those kind of things would be tracked as far as when this bylaw, has to come back to
Admin-
someone else sitting around this table.
Administration would be tracking anything that's for a certain length of time would be tracked.
And my other concern is what happens if the Hearthstone Bridge is closed.
I don't think we need to worry about that. They'll find another route.
Okay.
We're not at that point yet. People don't weigh that much. So we have,
Marathon.
no, another thing I could never keep up with. Anyway, we have a short one and we have a longer one and they have one the day before as well. So it's very well, there's anywhere between 200-300 people taking part in it. So it's quite nice to see. Again, we have the first resolution's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And the second resolution is in regards to the half marathon, full marathon, and the 8K fun run. That be approved. Yes, certainly.
Yes, if you look at the last paragraph, in 25, there will only be a half marathon and 8-kilometer run, and it says a full marathon in this resolution, so that should be removed, right?
They usually have all.
Yeah, but it says we're passing a resolution for this 25, and it says there will only be a half marathon and an 8, and it says in here, full marathon.
Go ahead.
That's correct. We should be deleting full marathon from the resolution.
Yes.
So the movers and seconders was Alan Viss and Dan Calvert. So if you're okay with that, we can strike it.
So he didn't request the full marathon.
That's correct.
Oh, well, he'll have to come back to you then. Okay, so we have the resolution with the adjusting removal of the full marathon. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. All righty.
Excuse me, Mayor Lucy, is there something further with regard to the flyover? Or no? It just
No,
letting us know that that's what they had
they,
hoped to have?
they always, it's part of the second resolution. And all it is they request from the military to have a flyover. And because in certain years, there's special anniversaries when it comes to the military or the pilots, they do on occasion have the plane fly over. But they don't land anywhere in the municipality, they just fly over. Well, and it doesn't always mean it happens, but they do ask for it, so. And we also have the band from the Fort William come out and play their stuff and do their stuff, so. Okay, Roslyn Village groundwater supply. We have a report for, this is for your information, in the efforts to reach the MECP. And just for discussion, if there's any discussion amongst council in regards to this. Yes,
Yeah, if you look at it says when they did the water study, which received, it said it shows it has sufficient water, and I think that's the only thing we're worried about, to
Yes.
satisfy the people around the neighborhood, so as long as that find out by someone, continue on.
okay. Anyone wanted to bring anything further to that?
I just wanted to comment that, as you see on pages 90 through 93, there was a lot of interest when the subdivisions last year were talked about. What happens to the water supply overall? Who's looking at it?
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be MECP. So I've asked them in direct questioning about what they're doing, and we're wanting to get answers from them.
Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. Yes, with the number of hydrogeological studies that are required for the developments that are proposed and already in the works. I think MECP, I don't know, do they cross-reference anything? Because there's potential for a lot of construction in the future. And does one hydrogy study offset another, or how does that work?
No, and the hydrogy studies only apply to the specific plot of land where this development's going to happen. It doesn't go into unknown areas around. Usually it doesn't. So,
But the water flows in that way, so just a question.
do know, I think there's, I have to check with Conservation Authority, but I believe there's 3 aquifers in Roslyn. One is the water system we're presently on, and then there's 2 others, but I can confirm that. I can check with LRCA, or yes.
Well, further to what Councillor Peacock's talking about, the MECP is in charge of the Ontario Water Resources Act.
Right.
And under that, they have some authority to, if they deem necessary, do studies on water and even implement measures to conserve water. So that's what I was asking about, because there's happening in some places of the province, and I'm just wondering, how do they know when they need to do that?
Mhm.
I guess they say that in their comments, there's no concerns around here, but I don't know how they get that point of view.
Okay. Councillor Viss?
It's a bit confusing for me, and a couple of things. It says the Lake Conservation Authority conduct groundwater study. I didn't think Lake Conservation got into any of that, but anyway, I could be wrong. The problem is here, they're talking about the 2 wells we have, but the people that are concerned are on Pinewood, and so you got me a bit confused here, because my understanding is what we've heard over time, there's 2 aquifers, one at one end, one the other, but nobody's ever said what's in that far aquifer. We only know where we have the 2 wells. So it's a bit confusing to me when I'm reading through there, and I just can't get my head around what they're trying to tell us. Is there or isn't there, you know? So it's the people in Pennock, and those are the ones that are concerned, you see?
That's right, and we're not getting an answer from
Okay,
MECP,
yeah,
how
that's
they look
not
at
just
this.
me. Thank goodness.
On page 92 there,
Yeah,
there's a reference to something called the Oak Ridges Moraine Groundwater Program. And this was established under this MECP rule, I understand, about they have the ability to step in and monitor water resources and everything when they think there's a problem. So just trying to find out, how does that
Okay.
work?
thank you.
What about Roslyn Village?
Okay. So this is just for your information. They're still working on meeting with them and hopefully
Right.
with some clarification.
Well, I think it's very important, Mayor Lucy, because all those homes in there would work useless if without any water. And
Right.
we all know that, how important water is. Well, I live in the rural area, so.
For sure. Okay, then the next item is report 2025-41, which is our insurance renewal. We have a resolution moved and seconded that we recommend the 2025-26 municipal insurance program for a total premium of $333,941. What is that in an increase? Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, when this report was done, we didn't have the cyber renewal.
Right.
So we were unable to do the analysis, but that's in a report coming up. It has the cyber renewal, and then we have all of both the cyber and the main policy analyzed. The overall increase is, well, it's on the report. It's under 8% or something or other.
It's around 8%, 8 to 8.5. So that's the increase this year.
And
Yes.
was the budget not allowing you like 405,000?
Yeah, that's correct. There's a report coming up that was added to the agenda that will list those numbers.
Okay. So we have a resolution moved and approved, and I'm seconded, sorry. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next item we have is the Thunder Bay District Veterinary Services Committee, page 102 to 107. And it does have a resolution attached to it. It's been moved and seconded that the municipality approves the funding of $500 for the veterinary assistance program. This is something that we've done every year. And as well that representing municipality of Oliver Mapoonch would be Peter Albers and Councillor Bernie Campoff. So it is now open for discussion? Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We're all in favor to getting Bernie onto that board as soon as possible. One meeting a year.
ORED, is it?
And now we have report 2025.47, which was a new one, the cyber insurance renewal and insurance premium versus the budget. And we have received information on that. So the information we received has a resolution that recommends that we do include that with our insurance at a cost of $810 plus tax. It's been moved and seconded. All, any discussion?
Thank you. With regard to even just the general insurance, there will be some additions this year, correct? With regard to adding the 2 rescues, the plow truck, anything else or how often is this listing updated?
We update the list as soon as a vehicle is added or subtracted.
Mhm.
However, it doesn't affect the premiums for the year.
No, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we again have that resolution.
Yeah.
But we usually get rid of the older ones and that decreases how much we have to. Yes, Councillor.
Yeah, there were some questions about the impacts of this premiums and how it works on our budget. The second page of the report provides some information there. Our renewals there, you see the table at the bottom. Our renewals total $367,000. The final budget was about $406,000. So we have a positive variance of over $38,000. So for budget 2026, if we're expecting an increase of about 10%, we don't need to change our provisions. We already have too much provision in the budget lines.
Okay, so again, I have the resolution. Any further discussion? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We now have our bylaws. First one is the agreement use of municipal property / Quebec Legion. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Then we have the LRCA MOU 2025 in regards to mapping. It's been moved and seconded, the bylaw. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Then we have the bylaw for the agreement with the MNRF Forest Fire Management. It's been moved and seconded. I would just like to ask our fire chief, we discussed this at the last meeting and we had some concerns in regards to that. Is that the forest fire management, was that the part we were really concerned about, or because there are many parts?
So the discussion could have an impact on the agreement,
Mhm.
but at this point, we're not in a position to change our current
Okay.
agreement. So this is a housekeeping. It just gets reviewed every 5 years.
Okay,
And my intent is to dig deeper into the agreement and how we're going to deal with the other concerns.
okay,
So at this point, I think we have to sign the agreement because it's got to be in place by April 1st.
okay. All righty, so motion has been made and seconded. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then we have the agreement with Simcoe in regards to the it's to authorize the execution of our agreement with Simcoe. Refrigeration, it's been moved and second. The bylaw is open for discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We have some action items. We've had a request in regards to World Autism Day for, I believe, April 2nd, and also request to buy a flag and to put that flag up that day, I believe it is. In the past, our municipality has flown only the Canadian flag.
Correct.
We are Canadians, and it has been talked about that if any person or persons wishes to fly a flag on their property or at their building, that is acceptable to us. But our municipality will only fly the Canadian flag.
I agree.
Sorry.
Yes.
Further to that, it's my understanding that when you have a Canada flag, that's the only one that can be on that pole. No other.
That's correct.
Yeah, well, we're Canadians for, first and foremost. And that kind of covers everyone. So, we now have the NOMA conference and annual general draft agenda.
Can I just go back there for a
Yes.
second? That one, yeah, we can still proclaim that as autism day.
We don't have to. We have basically, I believe, in the last few years shied away from declaring any day a day because it's come to the point that we've declaring every day of the year a day. And we will respect that day as being Autism Day, but autism is something we should look at 365 days of the year. Just one. Councillor Viss?
Yeah, just do that. Few years back, we had a request. I think we had a request to recognize the day from people from BC. At that time, I asked when, we get so many requests at that time, I said, my question was, when will we have a White Man's Day? And I got myself in a lot of trouble. And so I think that decision was made that we just, yes, we'll recognize them or just say yes and accept it and not leave it at that. And I think otherwise we're going to just get overwhelmed by requests of what people want.
Okay, yes.
Other things today is National Chocolate Covered Nut Day.
Yeah.
And Quiet Day.
It's also anti-bullying and you're supposed to wear pink.
But today,
Yes.
Oh, well, you see,
Close.
I'm not at all. Okay. So yes, it is something that is, our calendars are full of days. I believe that we should respect these. Autism is a terrible thing.
It is.
And this is something that we should respect every day of the year. The next item is a NOMA conference. We have a resolution and is indicating who will be attending the NOMA conference. It's April 23rd to 25th at the Superior Inn Hotel in Thunder Bay. I believe was Councillor Calvert not appointed? Was he appointed to this or to represent us because he's on the league?
Yes, we asked Councilor Calvert to vote for us at the NOMA conference, so we have to approve his attendance.
Yes, so he has to attend. So I've got him top of the list. Who else will be attending on April 23rd to 25th?
Well, that's in town. I'd like to attend that.
Councillor Viss, Councillor Peacock. You'll be out of country and I will be working, so I will not be able to attend. Any from administration wish to attend? No? Okay, so we have three. Councillor Calvert, Viss, and Peacock will be approved to attend to represent the municipality of Papoonge at the annual general meeting held on April 23rd to 25th at NOMA. This motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. They do have one, I believe it's the second day where we have a possibility of perhaps meeting with the minister. We do get those requests, so if we get the request, we'll certainly go down there and meet with the ministers.
We tried last year, right, Dan?
So
Cut them off, right? Yeah.
nuclear fuel waste transportation, there was correspondence, cell towers and their associated maintenance. And by Canadian policy, we have one councillor that states that distinctly. And then we have the United States imposition of tariffs on Canada and provincial elections healthcare advocacy. For information only, we have the Indigenous Community Awareness Training. It is open to any who wish to take part. The AMO 2025 conference in Ottawa, August 17th to 20th. the AMO policy update, action on tariffs and trade. NOMA media release, we do have that in our package. Homeless prevention program advisory table from DSAB, if anyone wishes to put their name forward. Update from the board of DSAB, the TB Police News, the message from Chief Darcy Fleury, and the Thunder Bay District Municipal League Conference that is in March. Anyone wish to discuss any of those?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Mayor Lucy, Municipal League asked if anyone wanted to talk to the EMS chief. We had allotted 15-minute intervals. If anyone had any issues with EMS.
At the league or
At
at
the
NOMA?
Thunder Bay District Municipal League,
League, okay.
if who's ever going there. We were interested or not. I know they have more concerns, I would say, down on the North Shore and all that with their,
The
vast
positioning of
areas that they
stations.
have, yeah, versus us who are, much more
Yeah.
closer.
And just to bring forward, I'm sure you all received a copy of that letter from the EMS in their appreciation of what our first responders and fire department has been doing.
Having that discussion, just for curiosity, are they still pulling our ambulances out to Kakabec quite often, or is that
Whenever-
slowed right down?
Whenever required, I believe.
Yeah, I'd have to dig into and ask that specific question. I don't think they get pulled in so much as they're delivering patients, for lack of a better word, and they get hung up in town. So they, with only one in this area, if they go out to Nullaloo, then they're out of our area and tied up for a period of time, but
Okay, the reason I asked, I think a couple of years ago, we had that concern. Remember, it was very nice. We had a station there, but there was never, it was leaving more often than it was there. That was the only reason. I just clicked back on me,
Right.
remember that. So, but anyway, you don't hear any concerns. It's,
well, there are concerns with response to the capacity from EMS because of the workload they have. But I don't know that it's our ambulances in the city of Thunder Bay all the time. I don't
Okay.
think that's the actual
Alright.
case.
There's a working group now too with the Thunder Bay District Municipal League on this, on the same thing. And they're talking about like transfers and that, whether they need to go, instead of having the EMS doing all these transfers, can they, possibly contract out a
Any
different
transfer.
company so that they could do it and,
Mhm.
free up the EMS people instead of them running around doing this when they should,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of discussion going on.
Good. Yes,
I
Sean?
think it would be worth that yourself and myself have a discussion to see where that's going. This is the first I'm hearing of it, so.
Okay, well, we'll leave it with you two then to see. Alrighty, then we have a NOMA release. Oops, I'm just checking to see if I didn't miss anything. The AMO policy update on tariffs and trade, the NOMA media release in regards to major obstacles to empowering the new mines. A homeless prevention advisory table, I had mentioned those already. So I now will go to new business. Councillor Viss?
none.
Oh, Councillor Peacock?
Just a couple of questions with regard, perhaps administration, department managers. We did receive a report from the deputy clerk with regard to the work done by the summer student. I'm just wondering if we get something from both the fire department and public works with what their summer students were asked to do and what has been accomplished through the summer, and are we getting new summer students again this year? I believe they were advertised. So just a follow-up report would be appreciated. As far as the building permits, wondering about outstanding permits. Our bylaw for the building, bylaw number 3523 says that incomplete permits expire after 6 months and permits that are out for a year can only be renewed again for 1 year. So I'm just wondering the status of the outstanding building permits, as well as perhaps the treasurer can help us with this one, is the amount outstanding in the occupancy permit. Because they're, like, do we just leave it in that account and the checks get sent to people once they get occupancy? So I'm sure there's a substantial amount outstanding in that. And again, I think Wayne has spoken with the police, but just looking for the year-end report or a report of some kind with regard to the Oliver Papoonch responses. And I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And now, anything else, Counselor Calvert?
I don't know if anyone's seen yesterday on the, there was a thing about, like, all, and then
Oh.
there's a
Yeah.
book apparently in the library, cookbook and that, and it was
Mhm.
mentioned, Michael, and
In his memory.
very, yeah, very good. I thought that was
Never noticed
quite a
that.
thing.
Yeah. Perfect.
Thank you.
And Counselor Samphoff?
I had nothing and then we had, I guess we all received an email the other day. From a resident that owns the trailer park, and they had
Yes.
concerns about the landfill cards, and that's, to me, that seemed like a reasonable request. I just wanted to.
Well, yes, that will go on. There will
Yeah,
be a
obviously
report
we'll
from
go
the
over it.
Director of Operations. There's other questions that have come in about these cards,
Yep.
so he's going to amalgamate a report on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, nothing.
He will receive acknowledgement that his letter's been received. Okay, and nothing else from the administration under new? Okay. We don't have to resolve into closed session because we've done that already. We don't have to have a coffee break because we're almost done. So I have a confirming meeting bylaw. It's been moved and seconded, a resolution, I should say. I'm sorry. Just want to check and see if anyone had any comment on this. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. I now have a final resolution. It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn our meeting, the time being 10:20 a.m. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. I know there's been a motion made, but I forgot to mention that. It's okay. We've approved it. Thank you very much.